Blackballed. 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 Blackballed.
What is up, everybody? My name is James D. Fiore, and this is Blackballed. To make your dream come true, you have to have a dream in the first place. That is the opening line to the documentary featuring my guest today. I had Eric Alper on the show not too long ago. He was a music public relations guy. He's been around for a long time. His family owns Grossman's Tavern on Spadina. And we talked a lot about nostalgia music and what happens when a band comes out at a certain time in your life and becomes sort of the soundtrack of your life. And even if it isn't the music itself that makes you want to remember this band and use the band as sort of as a launch pad to remember the good times that you had whenever it was the soundtrack of your life, it's really important to people that they are able to sort of thrust themselves back to that place, to the cottage or to your childhood home, first date you had. But what happens when the soundtrack becomes your life and never goes away? I have been friends with this person in the digital sense for about 15 years. I think we shared many common friends in the rave scene, but I quickly learned after following him on Facebook and Twitter that he was not just a fan of one of the biggest bands of all time, U2, but like a super fan. And I'll tell you the truth. Normally, I don't really understand the mentality of a super fan. But when you listen to him talk and you see the passion behind what he is doing, when he follows U2 around from show to show, and what his gig is at night for the last 10 years as part of the band called Acrobat, which is a U2 tribute band, you start to realize that there are sometimes people who do things that seem off the wall, but they're actually really, really special, and more importantly, infectious to the people around him. So on that note, I would like to introduce my guest today. His name is Mark Baker. Mark.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, buddy?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing well. Did we ever meet in the rave scene at all? Like, I feel like maybe we did, but I don't remember. We have all these common friends. I'm going to name one right now because if it was anybody, it would be her. Laura Creedon.
I know Laura.
Yeah.
And we didn't meet with Laura. No, we did not meet with her, but we hung in circles that nibbled on the edges of each other, I think. Absolutely. And I kind of came late to that scene. I came around 1999 specifically.
Oh, I was 1 year later than that.
And so I finished university. I started my career as a teacher. And again, that's another music scene that I was just all in on.
What brought you into the rave scene?
A guy at my school talked about clubbing, and I said, yeah, I've been out. I'd go out. He's like, no, I need to take you out.
Yeah.
And we went out to my first club. I'll never forget it. System Soundbar.
Oh my God, dude.
At the time I was like, wow, I know you're a hip hop guy, and I have to say that's a great intro, the little hip hop, the Blackballed media. When I went out in the rave scene and I saw people playing this music on vinyl, I was like, this is bananas. How, like, the DJ that I know is, Jam Master Jay, hip hop DJs, right? Eric, Rakim, Eric B and Rakim, so to see this happen and this blending and this mixing and the sampling of different stuff and then there's trance and the techno, things music I love.
What's funny is that so you say that you got there late. I got there in the year 2000.
Okay.
And long story short, I ended up meeting this person and I became his roommate. and then found out the day I was moving in that his roommate, the third roommate that was there, was like one of the biggest rave promoters, not just in Toronto, but in the country. So I like didn't know anything about the scene at all and landed it in the apartment of the people that were not just like in the scene, but setting trends in the scene. So the first party that I ever threw, though, because I became was, and that it sounds fancy. It was just a job title for a guy that was broke because we spent all our money on parties, right? Like that. That's pretty much it. But it was at the Soundbar. It was DJ Scott Stubbs, July 5th, 2000 at Sim Soundbar.
Gotcha.
And here's the thing. I felt like I needed to kick myself because I didn't discover this scene sooner. Did you have the same kind? Yeah. Did you have the same kind of vibe that I did where you're like, where did all of these genuinely nice people come from?
True enough. And I remember even just driving around Toronto and seeing like, the candy ravers and the fat pants and everything and not knowing where are these people coming from? What? And then all of a sudden going out and going, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
And now the other part of me is I also I DJ tech house pretty much. That's a whole other story.
And you have like a whole persona going on too. Like this is you here, right?
That's at our party summer camp years ago. I always dress up.
What does the T-shirt say?
That was on the island, DJing on the island. Yep.
What does your shirt say? You used to be all right.
It's a Radiohead shirt. It's a Radiohead shirt from In Rainbows. You used to be all right. What happened?
Your T-shirts are like the bomb. Let's see. I have another DJ one here somewhere. Oh, this one. Your Benum Dinesh phase of DJing.
Oh. So that's another party where I surprised everybody. And,
no way.
and I DJ'd a whole set as the Marshmallow Man.
That is. Right? That's not Benum Dinesh. That's that's Stay Puft Marshmallow from Ghostbusters. Oh my God, that's so funny. I thought it was Benum Dinesh. I don't know.
As you can see, I have no shame. As you can
Bigger Dinesh. Yeah,
no shame. No shame. Yeah, that's supposed to be Stay Puft.
Okay.
Got pictures from my life.
I just literally jacked all the pictures I could off your Facebook. Yeah, that's what I did. But okay, now before I actually ask you about the YouTube stuff, did you ever? You must have like mixed the Tiesto track or something with YouTube before, right? Like,
okay, so interestingly enough, the YouTube remixes I can honestly say are not very good. Okay.
Like yours or just in general?
They're not good. They're not underground enough. They're quite mainstream.
Okay.
They're very light. They're not really good. There was once where someone had a bootleg version of Silver and Gold, from Rowland Hung, and it was like a tribal beat, and it sounded good, and it was mixed by a Toronto DJ, and that was like, wow. I'm hearing U2 for the first time and it sounds legit. But most of U2's and then Oakenfold did Lemon, which was a big one, and there's a few other ones, but most of them
Ronnie Size did what's her face? I always forget her name. The Sarah McLachlan. Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, that was a classic.
Yeah.
I know. Silence.
Yeah, that's right.
That was a classic. So a lot of the U2 remixes are not very good.
Yeah, I noticed that because I tried to find an intro for having you on, the one that I posted there on Facebook or whatever, and that is a U2 remix of something, but it was the only one I could find that didn't start immediately with some hardcore techno beat like right out of the gate. Right? You're just like,
they're not very good. I admit they're not very good. I found a track that had a little snippet of New Year's Day that I played on New Year's Day at a rave. At a party once, and it was good, but that's as good as it comes. I have to admit, I usually don't mix the YouTube world with my DJing world.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's okay. Maybe they're not. There's certain bands that, like when Tiesto mixed Radiohead, everyone lost their mind. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was too. It wasn't symmetrical. like the beat, the music didn't mix well together. Like it was confusing to me. And I thought the idea was good. I like it when people take risks like that, but I just, it wasn't something that really hit. So maybe there's certain musicians like that, like Coldplay. It seems like one of those bands that you wouldn't want to mix. Like
there was a Clocks remix that everyone played. And
right.
then everyone started remixing Clocks at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to be a little harder edge when it comes to playing on the decks. And so, not to knock anyone who plays trance or anyone who plays that style. It's just not my thing. I like to come on hit the dance floor and hit it hard.
You went to milk parties, right?
I did. I did.
So did I. Yeah, the milk parties were great. They were, especially the ones that they threw at the what is that outdoor venue there in the West End?
Sunnyside.
Yeah,
Sunnyside.
So great.
Sunnyside Pavilion, which is still operating as a venue like that. Still,
really,
they still have parties there. Yeah,
it's been a long time since I've been to a party. I used to go to the Cherry Beach parties all the time on Sundays. Yeah,
yep. Cherry. I was supposed to play Cherry Beach this summer.
Really? Oh,
yes, and I was in a great spot before the headliner. Everything. I spent like weeks agonizing over my tracks and whatever. And then there was a big thunderstorm warning, and they didn't bother doing the show because it would have been anyway.
And one last thing before we move on to the YouTube stuff is that I couldn't find the T-shirt, but it always used to kill me because I used to see you would post it like once a year, or once in a while, or someone would comment on it or something, and it was a T-shirt that says "I am not Carl Cox."
Yes,
which is just a famous house DJ, which is hilarious to me because I can imagine how many people when you're sitting, especially because you had glasses like that too, didn't you?
I did have, when I was raving, I did have some black square glasses, and I would go out and I even go out to see Carl Cox, and I'd have people come up to me and go,
"How are you there, but also up there?"
Yeah, how are you, Carl Cox? I'm like, Carl Cox is right there. So there was a point in time where I would actually go around and like, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. How are you walking tonight, Toronto? Oh yeah.
So funny.
I'm not Carl Cox.
You could have been like the decoy, in case Carl had to like break out.
To Amsterdam waiting for a club. Are you Carl Cox? I went to Argentina going inside of a club, and people are like, are you Carl Cox?
Did you ever say yes? Did you ever
No.
say yes? Despite your light racism, yes, I am Carl Cox.
No, I'm not.
Give me a table.
I'm not Carl Cox.
That's okay. I used to get Moby. I did because I wear glasses. I'm short, and I actually impersonated him once because I wanted to see if we could like start an internet rumor because this is like back in 2001 or something. And so I went to like a restaurant and I had a photographer or a friend taking pictures of me, follow me, and like a person with like a clipboard to make it look like I had some sort of weird entourage. And they let us in and they gave us a table and everything. And I knew he was a vegan. So I started ordering like steak and stuff like that. And I got these pictures taken. And I just wanted to see if I could start a false rumor about Moby being a vegan hypocrite and actually eating steak. It didn't work, but we got comped the food, right? So it was a free meal.
Wow.
It was okay. Yeah, they can afford it. The Royal York.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. How old were you? And at the beginning, I was talking about how the whole soundtrack of our lives thing. And I was just wondering, did you two come into your life at a time when you were like coming of age? What was it that made you stick to it so with such gusto and discipline, like where you just became like the super fan or whatever you want to call it that you are today?
So the story kind of goes, I was a big hip hop head, right? Oh, am I still on?
No, I'm still here. Yeah.
I was a big hip hop head all my life, hip hop, but I was also, that 80s child with much music and Chum FM and all that stuff. So, of course, I saw the videos from U2 and everything. But, back in high school, you had to be a certain way. You had to be, you had to stay in one lane. And hip hop was my thing. My good friend, Terry Chadwick, he was fully into U2. And I thought they were good. I thought they were cool. They were amazing. I remember, I think I went to the library and got Joshua Tree. And I listened to it on cassette, because I want to listen to all kinds of music. And pretty much we were 16 at the time, and I got drunk for the
Oh.
first time. And he
Was it
was like,
Southern Comfort? Because it's always Southern Comfort.
no, it was like
No?
German homemade wine.
Oh,
And
Jesus
yeah, it
Christ.
was horrible. It was horrible. And he took the Walkman and he said, listen to this. And he put on Running to Stand Still. And I remember going, oh snap. This is something. These dudes got they got some passion.
I just found out you listened to Biz Marquee too. Oh snap!
And you used to have a BDP shirt that I used to go, oh man, he's got a BDP shirt.
I still have it, yeah.
And then my eyes were open, but I still didn't go to the other side. I still wasn't like committed. And then what happened was before 91, they started, U2 did the reinvention and Zoo TV. And what happened was, I remember reading in the paper that Public Enemy, who I used to adore.
That was my first concert.
Public Enemy opened for U2 on the Zoo TV tour.
Wow.
And right then I was just like, if these worlds can collide, then surely I can like whichever artist I want to without scrutiny. I was, you're worried about being scrutinized and whatnot. And so by now I'm in university and I'm like, I need to go see them. And so I saw them at Maple Leaf Gardens, my first show, 1992. By that time, I was just first year university, second year maybe. And my eyes were opened. Zoo TV was a big production.
Yeah.
And right there, I was like, there's no need to pick teams about black and white and I like this music and I can't listen to this music. I was just, I'm going to follow these dudes whenever they play.
Yeah.
And
that was it, eh? Like
Zoo TV was probably, that show set the standard for shows onwards, right? Zoo TV, U2 put all their money into the show at that time, only made pretty much money on the merch. And it was a spectacle that the world had never seen. And that's when they ditched the clothes from Joshua Tree, the pilgrimage looking look to
the goth hobo look or whatever it was.
Yeah. That's what I say. Like the Edge back then. Edge looked like,
He looked like he was about to hop on a train, start running beside a train.
That's right. And so they ditched all that. Bono had the leather pants, the black glasses. I was going to bring the black glasses. The black glasses, the personas, the change, everything was just explosive. And
that was the Rattle and Hum tour?
No, the Zoo TV tour.
Okay, so is that after that Rattle and Hum tour?
Yeah, so after Rattle and Hum, this is for Octung Baby, for their second biggest album. Right. Octung Baby was the album. The Zoo TV was the tour.
Did you watch the Defiant ones when they talked about Jimmy Iovine's role in producing U2?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Everyone says I need to see it.
Well, I'm so surprised that you haven't seen it. Yeah, you should watch it. It's really interesting. It gives you an idea of like the willingness that a person like Bono would have, and a big band like U2 would have, to listen to this guy who had a track record. But I mean, at the time, it was, he had produced like a Springsteen album and a couple other things, but that was sort of like, it ran him ragged. He went on tour with them and he was like, these guys have so much energy. They rehearse for 6 hours on the same day that they'll play, like they won't stop. But what he said was, if I'm remembering correctly, that it makes them susceptible to good advice as well, because if you're working that hard, you're open to other things and to making you a better artist. So I just thought it was interesting. I'm so surprised you haven't seen the Defiant.
I haven't seen it. I should.
It's amazing because you like hip hop too, and it's all about Jimmy Iovine.
I know Iovine does hip hop as well.
Yeah, it was Dre and Eminem and everything, so it was cool.
So I go see other bands. I do see a lot of bands. Being a musician and being a person who loves music, I go see a lot of bands. But a U2 show sets the standard of technology, of everything. Every time they tour, there's something that's never been done before, or technology that's never been done. And I see someone in the chat put also NIN. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct, Jen. Absolutely correct. That's the other band who I used to be afraid of. I used to be afraid of Trent. Oh, it used to scare me a bit. But then I started going to the shows and going, oh, if Bono sees what Trent's doing now. Oh, if Trent sees what Bono's doing now. Oh. Anyway, 51 shows of U2 later. I'm a full-fledged fanatic for them.
51 shows.
I have, and so, my shtick is basically long ago, after seeing these shows so many times and seeing people getting pulled up on stage, people getting pulled up. Oh, this girl dressed up as a belly dancer today. Bono's picking her up. Oh, this guy could play guitar. Bono's choosing him. I was like, how can I get chosen? I sound like that's not psychotic.
And you're just, but you're also this formidable big dude. Like you're not, you know what I mean? Like, but you're like, how can I get chosen? And you're just mad. You're like a football player.
And it's not an elephant in the room. I'm usually the black guy in the front row. So Bono would give me props.
And you're not security, right?
That's right. So Bono would give me props. He would look at me. He would point, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I started going with signs, right? Larry, can I have your sticks? I'm a blessed fan, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I just got this idea from the Zoo TV tour because Bono had lots of characters, right? There's the Fly with the black glasses. I got the black glasses here. The Fly with the black glasses, right? You've seen the Bono glasses. The Fly, this is a character, right? He had the horns as Mephisto, the retired, and a white face, a retired.
I don't remember the horns. No,
the red horns, and he had a character called the Mirrorball Man, and the Mirrorball Man wore silver, and he was like a TV evangelist, like cowboy hat. So when I met Bono after meeting him a few times, I said to him, "Listen, I'm going to start to come to the shows dressed up." And I should rewind a little bit. I want a car, right? I want a car ironically from CFNY, Alan Cross, and Dean Blundell spun the wheel, and I actually won a car. And so when
it was actually Alan Cross that spun the wheel, and Dean Blundell was on the mic. I just watched that too.
Correct. Yeah. And so when I won the car, everybody who I knew had a U2 license plate of some sort. U2 fan, U2 rocks, U2 this, U2 that. So I asked my wife, I'm like, I want to have a U2 license plate that will reflect my fandom. So we brainstormed for a few days for the new car, and we came up with U2 Brother. Yeah. Not YouTube Brother with an A, YouTube BROTHR.
So us whiteys could say it properly. I'm just saying.
So when she applied for it, but she had to write that, there's nothing racial in this, there's nothing, in order for it to be accepted, and it got accepted, and so I got it. So I started going to the shows just with the plate first. Yeah. And Bono would see the plate, blah, 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 blah. And then I told him, I'm going to start dressing up as the Mirrorball Man. And I remember him looking
That's a funny part in the documentary, if I can just interject for a second, because your wife, who seems really lovely, Jocelyn, was that her name?
Jocelyn, yes.
Jocelyn, yeah. So she comes downstairs at this one point, and I'm going to send the link of the documentary in the chat a little bit later. But you're sitting there with like a construction helmet, right? And all these little tiny mosaic pieces of glass, and you got you stuck on 3, and she's just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, you're like, I'm making a fucking Mirrorball, whatever. And then she comes down the next morning, and you're just all crashed out on the couch. And she's like, Mark didn't come to bed last night. And she looks on the coffee table, and the Mirrorball hat is completely done. And she's like, I can't fucking believe you finished it. Like, holy shit.
So I went with this Mirrorball hat and his Mirrorball suit. And so Bono started seeing me. Don't get me wrong. Getting dressed up to go to a U2 show, the first few times was kind of weird, right? People were like, "Oh, look at this guy." Oh, but I just started going. I actually brought the hat.
What happened to Carl Cox? Look at him. He's wearing a Mirrorball hat.
I brought the hat.
Yeah.
Right.
There it is.
So I made this disco ball hat. Right.
See, if you ever got divorced, you could be a stripper like that.
I got another story about this hat.
Okay, please.
I got another story about this hat. And so I started going my license plate. This is like fake license plate, but I used to take my real license plate. And it's like I'm like
Flavor Flav, but
YouTube Flavor Flav. I'm the YouTube Flavor Flav. So I started going all dressed up in silver, and so I started getting noticed. And then, of course, the movie. No one's made a fan documentary about one of the world's biggest fans. And so people started to see it, and people started to talk about it, and people started to say, this guy's crazy and whatever. And then it just started to tumbleweed, whatever, just snowball. And then Montreal 2015, I go to the show. They finally come to Montreal, and I'm waiting in the meet and greet line because Bono's going to show up. And pretty much Bono's bodyguard goes, "Where have you been? We've been waiting for you." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I'm going to text Bono and let him know you're here." And that night in Montreal, Bono chooses me, finally get my time to get going on stage. I'm about to climb over. Bono's hands up, and one of the serious security guards, whose back is to the whole action, is trying to stop me. And then U2 security's like, no, let him up. And then I get up on stage, and while I'm on stage, Bono's like giving me this motion, like, catch me. I'm like, what? And jumps into my arms. And here I am, cradling Bono, and I kind of do a rocking motion, right? And I got this other picture of, I got the one of him on my car, and then here I am picking up Bono at a show.
Yeah. Look at that. Like Bono's not very big though, is he?
He's not a very big man, no.
No. How big are you? How tall are you?
I'm like 5'9" and a little bit.
Okay, I thought you were taller than that, but he looks like he's like 5'6" or something.
And he wears some platforms as well.
I saw in the clips that I was watching. I was like, oh, he's got. What are they called? They're called something in showbiz, like it lifts, right?
Yeah, he wears lifts.
Yeah,
but I'm on stage. When the show was over.
Well, hold on. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, because I want to play this. looks like a ragdoll.
Oh, when that happened.
Yeah.
When that happened.
That was awesome, by the way. Jesus Christ. Like imagine you're so lucky you didn't drop him because you're so excited.
I gotta get rid of this helmet scheme. So what's funny is one of my non-YouTube friends, he's like, dude, if you drop Bono that night, you would have set back black-white relations in this country 200 years.
That's so funny. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That's just all part of reparations. You can drop Bono. It's fine.
And then my line is, how can if you have $1 million in your hand, a multi-million dollars in your hand, are you going to drop it? No.
No.
So
No,
after I was done, each one of the members of U2 has their own bodyguard who, when they're on stage, so Bono has a bodyguard that follows him around. Edge, each one of them has their own bodyguards. Of course, when you go and you see them that often, they know who you are, right? They know who you are, whatever. So after the show was over, all 4 of them break what they're doing, and they're like, and they got the strongest Irish accents. I just want you to know that was fucking brilliant. I've never, you are the best fan we've ever had. That, like, all of them, their minds were all blown.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's interesting. Did you say that he asked you to pick him up or to catch him?
He gave me a nod. He gave me a nod, like, lift me up.
That's so funny. What? Hold me.
So when my wife shows that picture of me carrying him, she's like, and I will always love you.
Man, how lucky are you to have a wife who's cool with this, or seems cool with this anyway? It's like,
I just celebrated my 50th birthday, and my wife has been so good in dealing with this. But that happened in 2015. But just in 2022, she finally said, "Do you think it's easy being married to you two, brother? Do you think it's easy being married to you two, brother?" Like, all of a sudden, everything I've seen of her has been so serene. Yeah. She's just been like,
I'm tired of playing nice.
Anyway, so that was 2015. Fast forward now to Gabriel, my singer. He's like, dude, the band loves you. Oh my gosh, listen, I got an idea. So Gabe had an idea that we go to the Toronto show and we bring the whole band. We bring all of Acrobat to Toronto.
Acrobat is the U2 tribute band that you've been playing with for about 10 years. Yeah.
Right. And I'm Adam with the tan. I play bass. I actually avoided playing any biggest fan as I am. I avoided playing U2 bass because I was always like, Adam does it better. Flea was my idol. I just was not into playing U2 bass. And then Gabe was like, you are a huge fan. You need to know these lines. I want you to join my band. And I was like, well, we're not just a cover band. A tribute band are people who like kind of look like the band, right? Because Gabe looks like Bono. And I was kind of like, did you forget, man? I'm black. I'm not a white Adam Clayton. And he's like, I don't care. Join the band. So I did. He had the idea that we go to the show and let Bono know we're going as a band. Maybe he'll pull our band up in Toronto. There's a segue where he pulls a guitarist. Toronto, 2015, Bono pulls my whole band on stage. And we all take U2's instruments and we play Desire.
Wow.
And that was beyond my wildest dreams, beyond anything. So that happened. Then fast forward a little more, go to New York City. And, people are like, Bono keeps pulling up this black guy all the time. He keeps on. I'm trying to now somebody else.
The white natives are getting restless.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Somebody else needs to get a chance. But we go to New York City and Bono sees me. And all of a sudden I'm on stage with him again at Madison Square Gardens.
What?
I know.
What?
And now
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that. Yeah.
And so now it's to the point where my friends, even my wife, is like, what is going on? So we ended up there were some shows. They were overseas at this point. I think I went to Dublin because I wanted to make that trip to see them in Dublin. But while I'm in Dublin, they have a contest on u2.com. And it's like all the people we've brought up on stage for this whole tour
Oh,
If you want to relive your moment, you can relive your moment in Paris.
yeah.
And
There you go. Winning entry right there.
the picture they put is my face on stage on YouTube.com. So I'm like, I have a feeling I'm going. I have a feeling I'm going.
Well, and, they just used that's weird because they used you as like to promote the contest.
Correct. But what so what happened was everyone's name got listed. You were supposed to vote, blah 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 blah, and I should mention too, my wife speaks French. She's always wanted to go to Paris. She's always wanted to go to Paris.
Now, who loves Bono?
And I said, exactly. I said, look at this. My dreams are now making your dreams come true. Look at this. Look at this. You put up with this.
That's so funny.
All of a sudden, dude, me and wifey are going to Paris.
What?
And, you know, we sign all these disclosure documents. They're filming this thing for HBO. And what's happening is I'm on the plane. I'm going to Montreal first. The whole YouTube community knows I am going to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Please, sir, can you turn off your cell phone? My phone, I see a few texts. I shut off the phone. We're flying. We land in Montreal. I turn on my text on my phone. The amount of texts I got, what happened was that was the same night as the Battle Clan shoot up the terrorist attacks.
Oh, the Paris, the shot at the club,
and the
cafes and everything. Mm-hmm.
The Eagles of Metal, the death. What's it called?
Death
Eagles
from Above.
Death Metal.
Oh, Eagles Death Metal. Sorry, yeah.
Is that what it is? Eagles, yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Their show got shot up. People died. The YouTube people call me. They're like, "Don't come to Paris. The show's off. Don't come to Paris." And we were like, "Oh my gosh!" So we went back. We stayed in Montreal. We were flown back home. We watched all the sadness on the news. And then a few weeks later, they're like, "We're going to do the show again. Are you willing to come to Paris?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." So we fly to Paris. And so me and 9 other people who I realize now were specifically chosen. They chose a little boy, gorgeous Italian woman, you know, another gorgeous woman from Holland. They chose, you know, a guy, Paul from Spain, who's got covered in YouTube tattoos. And so we, all 9 of us were on stage, and I'm immortalized on the HBO.
And so did they pick a winner out of those people, or is everyone?
No, all 9 of those people went on stage at the same time.
Okay. And so after the shows, have you ever hung out with the band at all? Like, is that because I find it really weird to imagine you going on stage in Toronto, going on stage in New York, and then a year later being outside the concert trying to get Bono to sign a picture. Like, that seems weird to me. That seems like
I've never hung out with them. So that's the other weird thing. People think like Bono came to do his book tour. So people think that Bono and I are text friends. We're not. We're not. I mean, I do have talked to his bodyguard, but we're not text friends. We don't hang out. No, that doesn't happen. I'm not that privileged.
Well, he'd be lucky to have you. Seriously. Like, I mean, you know, it's interesting because I am one of those people that I don't get starstruck. Right. It's happened to me once in my life, but he was just so charming and good looking that it was hard not to have a starstruck moment with Matt Damon. Plus, I just saved his entire family from being bothered by really rowdy people. And so he looked at me like, "Thanks, man." And inside my head, I was like, "Melt." So I get it. But you know what I mean? Like, but it doesn't feel like, you don't feel like the kind of like, I don't see you as being, look, this guy is not starstruck. This guy right here, the guy holding Bono, that guy is not starstruck. There's a different level of it's a different type of fandom that you seem to bring to this, which is like respect for the music. It seems like you are, you know, you're not paying homage, but you just sort of have that like admiration for the music itself, that you just let it translate in the way that you relate to the fan,
I will admit that usually in the times past, when I'm meeting Bono, I actually rehearse what I'm going to say. I have a shtick. I rehearse so I don't get tongue-tied. And I went down to the book tour, which was fantastic. The book tour for his book. surrender. And I went down there, and what happened was, oh, I should mention, in the book, there's a snippet about me, a little snippet about me. And in it, it's loose, but he talks about Montreal 2015. And he says, why would a 60-year-old, that's him, why would an almost 60-year-old man run and jump into the arms of a big, strong lad or lass and have them carry me across the stage? The reason is it's a symbol of, what do you say? It's a symbol that our fans have been carrying us for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say something about that when I saw him in Toronto on Sunday, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Bono, what's up?" And he was like, "Look at you, look at you, look at you," blah, blah. And I got all. And then when he did his show, he mentioned I was outside, and I think I saw the Mirrorball man. So I've gotten props along the way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to be buddies. I'm just a fan. He knows that I'm not crazy. He knows that I don't cross the line. He knows.
Yeah.
They know that I'm just a good fan, and that's it. And I'm not a bigger fan than anybody else, because I kind of direct people when they tell me, they're like, "How can I meet the band?" I'm like, "Well, before they come, you should wait here, or after the show, you should wait here. Have this prepared." Like, I try and help other fans as well. So
you don't ever misdirect, so that. Yeah, he's going to be over on the east end of the Air Canada Center, just right near the garbage cans. That's right.
I've never done that, but no, I've never done that. I should mention too, because I will forget and people will be upset. But my band is playing at Lee's Palace on Sunday, November 20th.
Sunday, November 20th, Lee's Palace, Acrobat, YouTube tribute band. Do you guys have an opening act as well?
We do. It's Gabe's daughter, the singer, the lead singer's daughter. She sings, and she's very cool, very sultry, amazing voice, and she's going to be singing ahead of beforehand. So we have an opening act, and we play Lee's Palace on the 20th of November.
Well, that's going to be dope. Mark Baker, listen, thank you for coming, man. I really appreciate this. I love watching, like, once a year you go on like a YouTube sort of rampage on your page. I don't know if you're celebrating the anniversary of this.
It's the book. The book is out. I'm plugging the book. The book is out, and Bono was just in town.
Oh, okay. Right? That's what it was.
Bono was just in town, and so now, everything is all Bono right now. But
and your wife was like, yes.
That's right. I got up in the morning. My wife's like, look at you. It's like Christmas morning. You've been I'm a school teacher by day. So starting, September, you kind of go through the motions and everything. And she's like, in November, the cold is coming. And she's like, look at you in November, bouncing out of bed because your boy is in town.
That's so funny. Maybe you want to go to Paris with Bono instead. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
well, listen, it was great having you. It's sorry, you were gonna say?
I'm just gonna say the band has given. There's the music, and then there's the fandom. But to be honest with you, the people, the community is so tight and good that it just there's so many. I met so many great people through the travels of traveling and seeing the band as well.
And look, as just a bookend, where I started, you had a dream and you made it come true.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that do that.
I know, right? I know.
I've been trying to figure out what I believe in, right? Because I don't believe in God, but and when people talk about the universe, I get a little cringy a bit sometimes. But at least what I can see here, even though I don't know how to define it, is that you had a dream. You're a very positive person. And the dream manifested probably because you're a very positive person. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's synchronicity or the universe or whatever you want to call it, but it works for me.
There's karma. There's some karma. There's some karma, maybe if that's true. But my wife was also like, you've put the time in over the years, and you sort of willed it to happen in the nicest way possible. You weren't an a-hole about it. You weren't stepping over and being mean to people about it. You just did it your own way, and it came to fruition like it should have, I guess.
That's right.
My friend Ben Cormier, he hates you too, but he's
like, hilarious in the documentary.
Yes,
by the way.
Yes, and he's the protagonist.
He busts your balls all the time about being a super fan, right?
Like, yeah, he's the protagonist, and he's like, I kind of do want it to happen for Mark because, you know, it would make him so happy, and that he's good people. And I thought I thought that was a really nice thing to say. But yeah.
Well, listen, I enjoyed it. I think everyone should go watch the documentary. Actually, I think I should pull it up.
It's so old now. I can't get over how like when it was made. It's so old now.
It was made when was it made?
I don't know. I can't even remember. I think I might have been in my late 30s.
It says 8 years ago.
Is it 8 years ago?
Or maybe that's when it was posted.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, that might be right. That might be right. Yeah, that might be right.
Well, it's I think it's charming. I like how you included your Alan Cross basically hosts it, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know, he was the program. That's so funny because I work for Dean Blundell, and he was the radio DJ who was calling it while Alan Cross was spinning the wheel, right? Correct. So that was kind of interesting.
Correct.
And yeah, and that was but it's really charming because it's just your friends are on it, and your friends like Ben. Is that his name, Ben?
Ben Cormier, yeah. Ben.
Yeah, he's busting. He's like, I've been making fun of my friend Mark for being a super rabid U2 fan forever, and I won't stop. Like
forever. Yeah. Oh, my bandmates say 2010. 2010 was when it was made. Yeah, probably around
so 12 years ago. Wow, that's great. So you were 38-ish.
Yeah. And now I'm 50, bro. And I'm not gonna lie. I've watched the movie now. Like I've watched it, gone back and looked at parts and gone, oh fuck, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired. Holy cow, I'm so tired. I'm tired watching this.
Someone get me some hot milk, quick.
Where are my slippers? Where are my slippers?
Do I need to set an appointment with the chiropodist? You know.
Oh, it's just something. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So November 20th, Lee's Palace, Acrobat is playing, and go see Mark perform. Listen, I really enjoyed talking to you. Let's have you back. If you become a super fan for another band, will you come back?
Of course.
I'll have you back anytime you want, brother. All right. Thanks, Mark. Mark Baker,
You're
everybody.
welcome. Bye, everybody.
That was fun. I needed that one. Infectious, eh? That guy's positivity. Again, I don't know him in the flesh, but he is. You could just tell when I met him on social media 15 years ago through various mutual friends or whatever, and I started noticing the things that he was posting. He's one of those dudes that you can't imagine without a big smile on his face. And again, I don't know him. I've never met him, but you get that vibe. And so, that was fun. I needed that before I went to win the weekend, and now I have a little stowaway here. My daughter should be sleeping, but she's sitting right here. Why are you awake? Oh, because her brother's being mean. Well, I guess we'll go pretend that that's true. Okay, we'll put you back to bed. Next week. Oh, I'm so excited! Actually, I don't know which day it's going to be yet, but any of you hip hop, if any of you are hip hop fans, especially from the 90s, DaCosta, I'm looking at you. I have Chip Fu from the Fu-Schnickens next week. It looks like Tuesday, but it could be Wednesday. Wow. I don't know if you guys remember the Fu-Schnickens. Ring the alarm. Come on, guys. He was like the fastest rapper that ever existed when he came out. And it's still pretty impressive. So I can't wait for that. And we will see you then on Blackballed. Good night, everybody.
Blackballed. 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 Blackballed.